So yeah, this is going to be as quick as I can do it. It's a tag from Lizzie, Rose and Jones. I'll link all these things which came from Dr. Claire Smith. I don't know where it came from originally, so we'll just leave it at that. And it's just your favourite of each category. Obviously each category is loosely defined. I wouldn't get hung up on it, or you know, whatever. It is what it is, and they're going to be very brief descriptions. This intro is too long because obviously I don't want the video to be like 7 hours long. So there's 30 categories, I think, roughly. So we'll get started. So first up is vanilla, and vanilla is not a love of mine, I'm not going to lie. It's quite generally quite a boring kind of DNA, you know, strong vanilla fragrance. And I've just gone for a really obvious one, which is straight up plain vanilla. And that's Kayali's vanilla. Again, briefly, it is kind of this resinous, cakey vanilla. There's nothing particularly exciting about it, but that's what I like about it. It is just plain, straight up, cakey, warm, rich, delightful vanilla, which is very good actually for layering and stuff as well, which is not something I do often, not gonna lie. So yeah, that's Kayali's vanilla for vanilla. Okay, so next is Oud. It's a complicated note, isn't it? It can be, obviously, in a lot of modern fragrances, it's very... the synthetics are used, but the synthetics sometimes are quite bad. Come quite saffrony and not overly pleasant always. But nevertheless, it's a nice note. And one I've picked for it has kind of more the kind of enjoyable, kind of more realistic feel. I think it's actually got Oud in. Hang on. So yeah, what I picked for that is Triptych from Aqualis perfumes, which is like a small London brand. Some great fragrances actually, but Triptych is kind of, I think this is off the top of my head, I'll probably have to correct this. I think it's Laos food, is it? Possibly mixed with I always get this wrong, the region that makes tea, Assam Oud, and it's kind of all these ouds do come together. It's got that little, I hate using this word, it's got that little kind of fecally edge in the beginning. It doesn't really stay, it's earthy, mixed with a kind of very woody, lovely element, and there's vanilla and benzoin in it and things like that kind of smooth it right off, and it's just, it's bloody lovely. It really is. It's a very classy, easygoing fragrance. And what I'd say about Oud is, I know I'm waffling on for this section, try as much kind of authentic like Oud fragrances as you can, because it's not as scary as you think. And often the Oud kind of starts off with that kind of the thing that you're all scared of, but then quickly smooths out into something lovely, and that thing that you're kind of worried about actually it's a nice part of the fragrance and stuff. Anyway, that's Aqualis from it's Triptych from Aqualis for Oud. Next is Rose. Rose has always been it's a note I struggle with massively, I'm not gonna lie. And it's one of them, it's one thing that unites us all, is we never think we'll really like rose, but actually there's lots of different types of rose, and you will find one that's out there for you. This is very predictable. For me, it's Noir de Noir, which is just one of my favourite fragrances ever, and the rose is really prominent. It's rose patchouli, kind of truffly feel. It's quite earthy. You get this little bit of a Turkish delight feel with it. There's a kind of wininess that goes with a rose. It's a very dark but sweet, nice rose, running right through it, and it's an exceptionally good fragrance. You know, people call it kind of a gothic, vampire-y scent, and it's magnificent. And this is what I mean. I've discovered I kind of like a darker rose, a sweeter rose, and this one just fits perfectly. So that is Noir from Tom Ford. Next is a profile I struggle with, I'm not going to lie, and that's Ormonde. We all know what gourmands are, kind of foodie smells, aren't they, really? And I for one don't love walking about smelling like food. It doesn't really go with me. I love my food, don't get me wrong, but I can struggle. So the gourmands I tend to like are not particularly too foodie. The Perfume as well, but this one I've picked weirdly. Yeah, it's called Gourmande, and that's Pitching Woo from One Way Bridge, which is basically, it's like this peachy ice cream, like this rich, beautiful gelato kind of proper, traditional, nice ice cream, and that's got this little hint of a kind of minty humbug feeling in the beginning. Then there's also this like kind of pop float, like a cola float kind of feel with the ice cream. It's strangely warm, whereas it is creamy, it's never sickly, it's not like literal ice cream or anything like that. And it's heavenly, and I think that kind of minty touch through it helps stop it be sickly and what have you. Absolutely love it. So that's Pitching Woo for Gourmande. Next is honey, which I know can be a struggle for a lot of people, sometimes me included. Honey can either be quite animalic, or it can be kind of thick and dense and quite sickly like honey is. Whereas this fragrance I've gone for, Floris Honey Oud, is heavenly, because what's in with the honey and the oud, as you'd imagine, is rose, and the rose is like this gentle pink fluffy rose, and the musks in it are lovely, and the oud kind of stops it being too rich, too sickly and what have you, and the honey just adds this kind of sweet, silky beautifulness around it. It is absolutely magnificent. It's like this delicate honeyed rose with a kind of nice woodiness. It's very classy, it's very elegant, and it's unbelievably sensual. It is a magnificent fragrance. So for honey is Honey Oud from Floris. Next is a profile I struggle with quite a lot again, and that's citrus. I don't know what it is about citrus. I suppose I'm not a big citrusy person in real life. I don't particularly like orange juice or like citrus juices. I do like grapefruit juice, but it's by the by. Anyway, what I've gone for with citrus is a fragrance called Citrus from Olfactive O, and this one, it's done magnificently. Don't get me wrong, the lemon is quite sharp and rindy. It's got that kind of almost chewy, waxy sharpness about it, and then as it develops, it becomes a little bit creamy. I'm not sure where from. And then there's a nice kind of woody vetiver kind of base in there. But also in there is this like champagne-y feel. So it's got a kind of like bubbly feel, which also adds a bit of sharp freshness in there. And something about this one, I just love it. I think it's really, really good. It's citrus done a bit different, really, to what we're used to. It's not just some fresh what have you. Anyway, that's Citrus from Olfactive O. My all year round one is a difficult one. You can pick any bloody fragrance and say it's fit for all year round, can't you? So I have, and that's Pavilion from Dusita, which is this beautiful, it's green, herby kind of greenness with a kind of floral greenness. There's almost a kind of, sometimes when I wear it, especially in the heat, there's a kind of biscuity feel, patchouli maybe from the base and stuff. But it's all these green notes, fresh, luscious, kind of a little hint of bitterness, and then the kind of greener florals. You know, I don't know if this is even in it. You know what I mean, like a lily of the valley or something like that. And it smells of like a lush riverside walk. You've got all these fresh green plants and things growing with this kind of, I wouldn't call it aquatic, but it's got this kind of wateriness about it. And that suits any season, even winter, because winter's when we start craving these green smells. I just think it's a lovely all-round one. So yeah, that's Le Pavilion from Dusita. Tuberose. Oh god, I love tuberose. But again, I've picked a slightly unique one, a different one. And that's Floral Smoke from Olfactive O again, in here again. This is beautiful. This is obviously like these kind of smoky tuberoses. There's not just them, and there's narcissus in it, which adds this kind of beautiful green yellow thing in there. And the smokiness is quite prominent. It's not incensey smokiness, it's like smoke like a sharp kind of bitter touch in there. And it gives this, I don't know where it comes from, this kind of carnation-y feel, you know what I mean, like that dry, almost spicy floral feel in it. And it's magnificent. I love tuberose. You can get tuberose in so many different ways, you know, the sweeter one, the banana one, kind of greener one, this kind of more carnal, fleshy tuberose. But this one, yeah, this one for now was the one I picked out, so that's Floral Smoke from Olfactive O. For spring, it's only got to be one, if you know me, and it's not necessarily my favourite fragrance in the world. It's the one I always go for first, and that's Luna from Penhaligons. Lots of people get lots of different things from this. I think it's jasmine, it might be tuberose, and I don't know if there's juniper in it, but it has this kind of thick, watery feel, and to me it always smells a bit peachy. Don't know where that comes from. And obviously there's a little hint of like a fresh rose feel about it in there. There's rose obviously in there. And lots of people smell very different things with this. I know someone who smelled black currancy. Some people pick up on the rose more. I get that weird peachiness from the jasmine and what have you. Maybe. And it's magnificent. Like I say, to me it's like a mountain rock pool. All kind of fresh and beautiful with petals on the water and that. Yeah, so that's Penhaligons Luna. Next up is summer, and for that I've gone for April Aromatics Wild Summer Crush, which is the most beautiful, gorgeous, sumptuous, lip-smacking pink grapefruit, red grapefruit, whatever you call it where you're from, where it's got that lovely sharpness in it. There's a lot of other stuff going on in there. There's a kind of resinousness. I want to say a Opus, but it's something quite, I don't know off the top of my head again. It's got this kind of rich, lovely resinous base. There's other stuff going on, but ultimately it is this dark, beautiful sunset grapefruit. And my God, it's gorgeous in the summer. It's gorgeous any time, to be fair, but it really, really is like a fresh, citrusy, grapefruity cocktail. It's magnificent. I'm not going to waffle on loads. It's got a little bit of a naughty, cheeky wink about it as well. But that's a Wild Summer Crush from April Aromatics. Autumn, there's so many fragrances I love. So this was not an easy one to pick. So Amouage, and I've actually gone for Silver Oud, Opus 13, I think. Now this again, was talking about like oud before. This has got a beautiful kind of a Assam oud going through it, which starts off, it can be quite funky, but I don't think it's from that. I think it's got like quite a bit of castoreum and stuff in it, this, and that's kind of very much in the beginning. You hit with a big, beastly, beautiful fragrance, and that kind of simmers, and the castoreum kind of moves down to the background, and the oud is this beautiful, rich, woody, elegant, magnificent fragrance. And then there's obviously, with its name, you kind of get this silvery smoke kind of swirling round it. It's even quite ashy, quite burning in bits. And then I don't know where this is from. There's definitely not in it listed. It's kind of silver iris strands. Like if you imagine iris silk strands running through it, that gives it this kind of beautiful delicateness in there. And then there's benzoin. I think there's tonka. This is a Cecile Zarokian fragrance. There's bound to be tonka and vanilla and stuff in there, and it's just lovely. But it is that smooth woodiness. It's just perfect fragrance. So that's Silver Oud from Amouage for autumn. Winter is from the Fusciuni. and that's Viole Nere. Now I picked this one deliberately. You think it'd be more spring, but it makes me want spring again. It's this kind of, it starts off with a chalky, cold, frosty, barren orris, and then what happens is slowly, it's a real developer this, you start to get twinkles of greenness and stuff coming through. I can't remember the notes exactly, and then you get these little touches of violets coming through, little sweet bluey purple smells, and then all around that there's kind of richness. Is the Divana? There's something like a kind of boozy note in there, I think, which gives it starts to get kind of richly sweet with the violet and that, but still that kind of earthy, grounded orris is there. There's sprinkles of other floral notes and green notes in there, and it's like when you get towards the end of winter. I love this one, and it is quite melancholic at first, but it does brighten up to be quite a nice, happy kind of fragrance. So that's Viole Nere from Mio Fusciuni for winter. Next is musk, and anyone who watches my videos, you knew this already. It's Rolling in Love from Kilian. This is kind of ambrette is the main musk in there, and it's tuberose, and it's kind of jasmine. It's got this kind of cherry kind of feel from somewhere, almond milk and that. But it's the ambrette's the main musk, which gives you this kind of oh, you know what I mean? It's kind of makes your skin tingle, and you're all like. But there's also other musks in there, like soft tender. I don't know. There's lots of musks that all do different things, but it kind of, from the name, you can get what it does. If you don't know Rolling in Love, it's just a very sensual kind of beautiful fragrance. It's heavenly. Musks can be all sorts of different things. This one, I happen to go for a more kind of cleaner one. Well, it's still quite carnal, but yeah, that's Rolling in Love from Kilian. Next is tropical. I suppose I have a lot. Well, I don't. I have a few like this, and it was quite difficult to think of one. You go for like something you call suntanny and kind of juicy, fruity kind of feel. And what I went for tropical was Love the Way You Feel from Kilian. This is kind of, it's got your tropical florals in, you know, your frangipani, tiari, one or both. It's got that kind of, you know, that rich kind of thick white petally feel that again takes you towards the kind of suntanny thing. There may be a touch of coconut, but this is not a coconut fragrance. It's just that kind of smooth tropical feel in there. There's some kind of sweet fruitiness in there. It's just a magnificently beautiful tropical fragrance, and I believe they brought this back. I can't remember what the heck it's called, but it is blatantly a copy of it. It's got a different name, but it's this fragrance, but less good, from Kilian, because that's what Estee Lauder do. Anyway, that's Love the Way You Feel from Kilian. Sexy, hate that damn thing. The sexy fragrance, I've gone for Date with a Dame from what's her face, One Way Bridge. This again has that kind of cherry tuberose kind of feel in it, and it's just got some unbelievable musks. It's just so about it, you know. And basically that's kind of the main feel of it, tuberose in these musks. Again, there's a lot more going on, but kind of makes me feel of like in my head it's always some sort of goth biker lass. Now the musks, as sensual and beautiful as they are, there's a kind of cleaner, almost like a soapy aldehyde feel in there with all of this. So it kind of has that, you know, that good bad kind of balance in there. Good girl, bad girl kind of thing. It's sensual, it's beautiful, it's one of my favourite fragrances ever. That's Date with a Dame for sexy. Easy to wear, it's a bit of a vague definition, isn't it? So you can pick a bit of a vague fragrance. I've got my Nawab of Oud from Ormonde. This again it kind of fits that kind of all year round kind of thing. It's gorgeous. I describe it as like these Pakistani breath sweets that I used to get from my friend. It's It's like a mix of all these kind of bright spices. There's things like fennel and what have you in there. I don't know what's listed as spices in this, but it's kind of got all them, you know, cardamom and that sort of thing. And then it's with all these spices is like a lovely touch of rose and that kind of woody, oudy base. It smells magnificent, and again, I don't know why. It's probably because of that association with that spice in them. So we kind of get this kind of Pakistani, Indian, Bangladeshi kind of beautiful scene with all the wild spices growing and just the smell in the air with the trees and that, and the roses. It's magnificent. So that's Nawab of Oud from Ormonde. Prettiest bottle was difficult because I didn't want to go for what everybody else has gone for. I do have Lolita Lempicka bottles, which are out of this world, perfect little gothic things. But what I've gone for instead is Amouage's Fate Woman. This fragrance itself is quite old school smelling. It's like that kind of cocoa, kind of opium smell, if you get what I mean. It's like jasmine, spices, a little bit of rose, and this gorgeous resinousness, and the beautiful incensiness running through it. It's kind of got a big 80s shoulder pad kind of feel about it. It's so good, and the Narcissus is the star through it. It shines beautifully. It's back when Amouage, you know, made proper fragrances interesting, and money wasn't an issue, you know, using as much Narcissus as they did. It must have been, you know, a pricey one to make. Anyway, the bottle is this kind of iridescent, like you've seen the little smaller squarish bottles from them, and the iridescence kind of shines a bit pink and a bit kind of baby blue when you do the thing. Obviously there'll be a picture of it, and I find that quite stunning. Obviously they're all reflective and that, aren't they? And they're getting rid of these bottles now for cheaper, matte, horrible looking generic bottles, but they were quite some bottle actually. So that's Fate from Amouage for prettiest bottle. Beast Mode. Now I racked my brains for this one because I'm not someone who generally wears a big, huge kind of fragrance, and I thought, do you know what I always talk about it. That's Swedoft's Bohemian. Now this one it's this massive mega leather, this kind of oudy note in there. It's a little bit naughty. There's kind of a whiskey running through it. It is ginormous, but it suits it. And to me, it makes me think of like a Viking riding a horse. You know, all that kind of leather, the smelling of booze. It's very rugged. It's very beautiful, and it definitely makes a statement. It's not shy, but the bombasticness of it works. It's not just big for the heck of it. It's not Ambrox and Cashmere laden to make it big. It just is, from all the notes that are in there, and I find it really classy as well. This is like your big boss kind of fragrance. Someone with a lot of confidence and swagger would wear it. It's magnificent. So that's Swedoft's Bohemian for Beast Mode. Then a kind of ambery, spicy one. This used to have a different name, which is quite frankly, it offends people, so don't use it. There's plenty of other bloody words in the English language. If anyone's, offended by something, especially a large group of people, just don't use it. It's not hard, is it? And I know people go, it's just a bit. You're basically calling like a word, what is it? A third, maybe more of a third of the world's population the same culturally, the same ethnicity, the same what have you, when they're all very, very different. So don't use that word, yeah? Anyway, it's when I've gone for that is YSL's Opium. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's big, huge kind of cloves, and cloves was in Fate as well, but cloves, kind of vanilla, this richness, beautiful jasmine and florals and stuff with the lovely warmth from that spice. It's a fragrance we all know well, and again, It's kind of that 80s kind of feel. It's just magnificent. So that's Opium from YSL. Romantic, yeah, it's a tricky one because I think that's kind of my main DNA, isn't it? Running through my fragrances, and I've kind of gone for Misia from Chanel, which is predominantly that kind of violet iris, powder room, kind of vintage 1940s kind of thing. A little bit of leather running through it, and I kind of find this romantic because I suppose it's how splashing mud everywhere, because it's kind of how yeah, I'd like my partner to smell, or me. I find it very sensual and what have you, with that kind of darker violet and the powdery muskiness and the leather. That's all I need to say in it. We all know Misia from Chanel. So yeah, that's for romantic. Femme Fatale. I could have gone for two. The one I didn't go for is Guerlain's Le Petit Robe Noir Black Perfecto. Perfect. But instead I've gone for Blackstrap Betty, which is from One Way Bridge. And this is molasses. Molasses mainly. The kind of dark treacliness. There's a bit of bitterness from the coffee. It's got this kind of resinously rich base. There are some florals in there, but that kind of treacly molasses is the, ooh, it's so silky and smooth and almost licoricey. Like I say, that coffee adds a bit of something. It's dark, it's black. The fragrance smells black and beautiful, and you can really imagine someone in this, you know, like an assassin or something. You know, like a ninja in a leather outfit or something like that. Kind of mysterious looking and what have you. It's magnificent. So that's a Blackstrap Betty from One Way Bridge for Femme Fatale. Next is Woody, which is not... I don't really have that many woody kind of fragrances. I suppose they've all got woods in, but woody forward. So I've gone for one that I suppose is unexpected, is Oud Rosewood. Now the rosewood is not like it's a kind of sweeter, richer, almost a kind of resinousy wood, isn't it? It's kind of, I always think of dark cabinets made from it, and it kind of smelling, doesn't have that polishy smell, but very kind of clean buffed wood, dark wood, and that obviously runs through this with this kind of beautiful leather. And what adds to that kind of sweetness mixing with the rosewood is there is a raspberry, I think, which just adds that redness, and it's, this fragrance is so sensual, so rich, and so unbelievably beautiful, with that naughty kind of animalic touch to it. Heaven. So for woody is Dior's Oud Rosewood. Next is dark. Again, I have so many to pick from, so I went for indie one from Red Adolescent. The brand now sadly is gone. Kyle, the great creator, the genius, is kind of, he's packed it in for bigger things and stuff, but my god, he had what a collection of fragrances there was there. QH is based around the Queen of Hearts, and it's this beautiful dark rose. Not a lot of people pick out the rose, oddly, but it's definitely rose to me, with this kind of civet, what's it called, cumin kind of feel, where it's kind of a bit, it's dirty. It's not strong dirtiness, but it's got this kind of really kind of dangerous smell about it, with the rose and obviously everything else that's in there. It does have a smoothie resinous base. I think there might be a touch of incense and stuff in it. The rose, don't get me wrong, has a beautiful sweetness there. There's a slight booziness, but it's this kind of dark, mysterious rose. It's wonderful. That's QH from Red Adolescent. I hope you come back one day, mate. Christmas. It's a difficult one. I suppose you wanted me to say one that makes me think of the kind of Christmas season. So I went for Haute Harapito from One Way Bridge again. There's quite a few in there, which shows how good the brand is, by the way. But this is this really unusual apple. It's like a cooking apple, and it starts off like the cooking apple skin, and then you kind of get the kind of more stewed apple kind of feel about it in there. And there's all sorts of unusual things pop up. There's anise, there's this kind of grainy, branny type smell in there. And then it's obviously a beautiful muskiness. It's an unusual one, but smells vintage. It's hard to describe. It has this kind of, you could imagine someone a long time ago wearing something like this, but it's obviously modern. And I'm not an apple lover, but the apple in this works because it's so different, it's so unique, it's gorgeous. And I suppose obviously stewed apples makes you think of, well, me anyway, Christmas. Yeah, so that's Harrods from One Way Bridge. Iconic was between two. Obviously I've not picked Dupont this time. I've gone for the other one I never shut up about, because it is, and that's Chanel number 5. What is there to say? I mean, aldehydes, lily of the valley, beautiful sparkle of citrus, but it's all about that aldehydes and lily of the valley ultimately, isn't it, in there? And it's one that's lived now for well over 100 years, and still smells modern and what have you. Yeah, obviously they tweaked it from back in the old days. They took out the dirtiness, sadly, from it, and you can still buy more vintage ones. I mean, I've got some from, it's not that old, the 60s, 70s, which has a little bit more of a little kind of naughtiness from it in there. It's iconic. Anyone who smells it knows what it is. It will remind them of someone, probably, I'd say, you know, the grandma fragrance. It's not a grandma fragrance, but, you know, it'll remind someone of relatives and stuff like that. It's because it's just the iconic scent. You don't have to love Chanel to say that, and that's yeah, number 5. Nearly getting there. Beachy is the next one. This was easy for me. From Mabel Arama is Forbidden Bloom. Oh my, this is a special one. This is like this sumptuous peachy kind of feel in the opening. What else is with the peach? I can't remember off the top of my head right now. It'll come to me. It's kind of peachy, fruity opening, and then again there's this kind of darker notes. There's this kind of really sensual, naughty musk that you pick up going through it, and yet it kind of reminds you of a sunset on a beach and a bit of frolicking as the sun goes down, and after you've had a bit of a nice party and stuff. It's so nice. That's Forbidden Bloom from Mabel Arama. And finally, if I've still got some breath left in me, is Greedy O for sleeping, sorry. Yeah, Greedy O is kind of my bougie going to bed sleep. There's something about it, like I always again have these images in my head. It's like a bubbling fresh river of rose petals and stuff going by. It's got this fresh breeze, you know, on a hot day you're by this cool kind of river, spring and that, and it's very airy from the patchouli and stuff. It's quite ozonic and grainy, and the rose is just beautiful and fresh. It's lovely, but I tend to find this really calming and one I want to wear to go to bed. And that's it. That's the end of this very long video. Greedy O for sleeping. So yeah, that's the end of the video. I don't need a long outro kind of thing, do I? It was just some random things, you know, fragrance topics with fragrances attached to them. What would you pick for each one of them? Do you have a particular favourite? What I noticed missing from there was floral. Okay. It's fair enough, but yeah, which is obviously my favourite kind of fragrance category, if you like. But it is what it is. Yeah, why don't you do it? It's a tag, isn't it? So I'm not going to tag anyone specific. Although I could do you, Julia. It's been a while since we've heard from you. But yeah, that's it. End of video. Thanks folks. Bye.